So I can do it from Angelic River family.
Hello, and welcome to Silent Mystics, Finding Your Voice, where each and every week on Mondays, we bring you people from all over the world who have experienced the mystical, the magical, and sometimes the unexplainable. I'm Jeryl Anne, along with my co-host Diana. We hope that you'll come meet us every Monday here on Enlightened World Network and Enlightened Living and join us on this adventure into the unknown and often the unseen. So if you would, we'd ask you that if you will share this out now, we'd be so grateful so more people can come in and join on this magical, mystical fun. And now I am going to turn this party over to my co-host, Diana.
Hi, my name is Diana, and I will be the co-host today on Silent Mystics, and we have a special guest. I have only known her for a short time, for just a few months, and I'm so grateful that she's become a very good friend of mine. And we've actually had connections for a lot longer than I knew. Wendy will tell that story. She's been just a blessing in our lives, and I want to give her the opportunity to share all of her mystical experiences. So please welcome Wendy to the show.
Thank you.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
So give us an idea. Where do you want to start, Wendy? This is all your floor. You get the voice. So where would you like to start?
I'd like to start by saying that I purchased a book 2 years ago called Anchorlight, and I read that book a couple of times, and I went back to different chapters. And then when I joined the Angelic River family, and then Diane was on there, the name rang a bell in my head, but I couldn't quite place where. And then I can't remember how it came about. Diane was the author of that book, and now I know Diana. So what's the odds of meeting someone when you had bought the book, and then here we are now? So everything's written, I believe. We're meant to meet who we're meant to meet at that certain time in our life, maybe to teach us or to show us something. We might go on our way again and we might not speak to them, but certainly we do meet who we're meant to meet on our pathway. And that's the way it's always been for me. I've always been right place, right time, fortunately. And so, yeah, I'm happy to be here with you. Yeah, in the group and with you, yes.
That's one of my favorite stories that you tell, because it's just, to me, to find somebody later on, to be able to meet somebody that was touched by that book, because we put it out there. It's like a baby, letting it go. Yeah. It's like, can I do this? If people give it a bad rating, or if they don't like it, or it's going to really hurt me. And so it was really difficult. I remember like putting that baby out into the world. And then a couple of years later, you show up and you tell me that. And it's like, it does my heart good to know that what we're doing, we're always reaching out and making connections, trying to do things to help other people to kind of find their way. So thank you for sharing that story.
Pleasure.
Well, Wendy, you have had, as we talked about, this is a show about people who have had magical, mystical, kind of, in some ways, just kind of crazy experiences. And you've had more than your fair share.
Yes, I have.
Why don't we let you start with one of those stories? And if there's one, I do have some photos also to share with people as we go along. So why don't you pick your favorite story and let's just start there.
I can't say I've got a favourite story, but I will start with Merlin.
Okay.
So Merlin was born, they're not sure when he was actual month he was born, but he was born in 2014. So 2 days before Christmas, on the 23rd of December 2014, I got a call from a rescue friend asking would I be available the next day to transport a dog that needed to go to rescue. So fortunately, I was off of work that day, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll go. So this particular day, my husband was not working. He had a day off, and he never normally wants to go anywhere with me to transport dogs because their stories, and if they're in a bad way, upsets him. Anyway, this particular day, he said, no, I want to go with you. So we set off. We got to our destination, and we met the rescue and handed over the dog. I was doing the paperwork. And then suddenly I looked round, there's a dog in the back of the car. It's not the one that we transported, it's this new dog. So I said to my husband, what's that dog doing? He said, we're fostering him for Christmas. He's came from a high kill pound. He's only a puppy. They estimate him to be about 6 months old. So anyway, I didn't make too much fuss, and off we come home. And my other 3 dogs, my husband came in, and we went for a pack walk because we wanted to introduce him slow. Anyway, fast forward a couple of weeks, he was with us, and my husband was snapping away, taking many pit photographs. And then I looked at this one photograph with him, and he looked at me, and I went, oh my God. And Merlin has got the clearest rabbit marking on his fur. And why it touched me so much is because the day that we rescued Merlin on the 23rd of December was the anniversary of my nan's passing. My nan, who I called Mum all my life, I slept in the bed with her as a child when Mum and Dad was working. So she was like Mum. And because I was a chatterbox, and we've got a term, rabbiting, which means talking too much, my nan would say, go to sleep, Wendy, and stop rabbiting. So, of course, during my life, I was so close to her, and I was with her when she passed away. She passed away with me by her side in her sleep, just like sleeping. But we had conversations, and she said, I wonder if there is a afterlife. If there is, I'm going to come back and give you a sign. So, of course, when I see the rabbit on her anniversary of her passing, I waited 21 years for that sign. And there he is. So we had to keep him. I couldn't. I was never meant to just foster her. He was meant to be mine. And I think because my husband came that day, he was that middleman, so to speak, because I would never have ever come home with a dog without him knowing. But he was there, you see, and he came via the rescue to my husband, to me. So he was my best gift ever. For Christmas. He was my Christmas present. Yeah.
That's a beautiful
amazing
story.
I know.
And goosebumps. I was like,
and look at this picture, you guys. Everybody out there, you can see that is the dog. That's Merlin on the couch, or on the couch, I would assume, or on the chair. And they took a picture of him. You can see his brown ears there, and that is his back. That's the rat. I mean, if that isn't a rabbit, I don't know how much more of a rabbit you could get. So
it's a perfect rabbit.
It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I love that story. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I love that you were still looking for her. You were still looking for that message after 21 years. You remembered that she said that she was going to send you something, and then I
knew she would. As we say, there is no time in spirit. So
right. Exactly.
You know, in her time, it was time. But I can see you've got my story up. So I contacted a UK spiritual magazine. I don't know what made me think to contact them. I think I was in the supermarket and see one of their magazines, an issue, and looked through, and it said, you can send us a story. So that was another way they got me. You know, I don't normally go and buy magazines because everything I want is on the internet to read. So I sent them my story, and over probably about 8 months, I communicated with one of the the people who write the story. Can't think what her name is. The details for them to create it all. And she said what they wanted to do, because I'd given my story, I think it was in the March, they wanted to release it at Christmas, because he was at Christmas. He came to me at Christmas. My nan passed at Christmas. So that's why they called it Hoppy Christmas, because the rabbit hops, don't it? So he hopped all the way to my heart. Yeah.
And is that a picture of your grandmother?
Yeah, that's my nanny, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
We always say she held me as I came into the world, and I held her as she left. Wow. She was very dear to me. She was just didn't know no hate. She loved everything, everyone. She never knew bad. She used to say, see people, their heart, the colour of their heart, not the colour of their skin. So she was amazing.
How beautiful. How beautiful. And I just find it remarkable. I mean, if people don't believe in spirit and signs and that, then they have not seen this story, because I don't know how you could see your story and see these pictures and not. And the fact that she would say, Wendy, quit your rabbiting, you know?
I know.
I mean,
She's
that's,
saying it now, I think.
yeah, that's so cool. No, we don't want you to. You've got great
I'm allowed to
You want to
now.
hear more. Yeah. Okay. So you have more stories to share with us and pictures.
I've got so many stories. So
Well, we brought you.
my son announced that him and his wife was expecting a baby. So I waited a few months because I was eager to see the baby's sonogram. And it came to me, and I looked at this scan. I thought, oh, you know, they didn't know whether it was going to be a girl or a boy. But, you know, I looked at every detail, the little leg, you know, its little head. And then I was drawn to the top right-hand corner of the scan. And I peered at this and I thought, oh, my God. So under the time of 11:11, which is spiritual in itself, I saw a face that I recognised. And when I looked closely, I almost gasped. It was my senator who passed away the year before in the September. And that his picture, yes, top right under
Right
the
there.
time.
Right there is where this picture. And I'm going to show you another picture in just a minute so you can see Senna as well.
So, of course, I quickly rang my son and said, oh, my God, you're not going to believe it. He said, send me the photo. Yeah, there he is at the top. You can see his little dark nose and his little ears.
Absolutely.
So my son said, oh, my God, I can see it so clear. He said it gives him comfort because whilst he's been in a family of believers of afterlife, dad and mum, he was still, you know, a bit. But he said you know, that convinced him that Senna, that was so dear to the whole family, showed himself as a puppy, a baby, in our new baby's sonogram. So, yeah, so even that in itself, it was the time that drew me, the 11:11. I wasn't looking for anything in particular in the scan, other to look at the little features, the toes of the baby, if I could see them. Like you do, you just want to see that. I certainly wasn't looking for my dead dog. That's how it is, yeah. Wow. It just blows my mind.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Makes me want to cry. I can feel it in you. It's right here.
Yeah.
Bubble up.
So I've always got Senna with me. That's Senna in the ring there, the blue. That I had his ashes made into this ring. Me and my husband, we went to a place not too far from here called Ashes into Glass, and they take you through the whole process. It's a very sterile place, so when they put the cremation ashes on, so that you know that you're watching that the ashes of your loved one is going into that jewellery. So yeah, so we had one each made, and mine's inscribed Senna sleeping in my heart. Mm-hmm. So I always wear him. He's always with me. I never take the ring off, only when I sleep. But yeah.
Very sweet. That's his puppy picture, right? Because Senna was a bigger dog.
Yeah, Senna was a Staffordshire Bull Terrier.
Yeah.
So he was very wise as a puppy. That was 8 weeks old, that photo. But he always seemed older than his puppy years, like he had a knowing about him. And he was, you know, he was good with other dogs, and he would lay on the floor when he met little puppies. He was very tolerant of everyone and everything. He was a good boy. But
now your husband Tolga, you guys still have. This wasn't a remarkable experience, but you still have experiences with Senna to this day, do you not?
Yes.
And you want to tell us about that a little bit?
So one particular day, my husband came home from work and I was cooking the dinner. And we had a memorial that I made on our cabinet, you know, like our wooden unit in the living room, in the lounge. And we had Senna's little bone that he actually had it in his mouth as he was passing away. It was just a little dog chew bone. So we wanted to preserve that. So we put it on the unit. It's a high unit with some ornaments around it. He had an angel, I think, releasing a dove. So that was all there. So my husband came home and then after a while, I don't know, he said, where's Senna's bone? And I said, what? on that unit. It wasn't on the unit, but the other dogs couldn't get it because if they swiped to get it, they would remove the ornaments that was around it. So we was looking for this bone, and then we found it in our dining room, which is the next room to where the bone was originally. So my husband said, I know, I'm going to look on our house cameras that we have for the dogs. We've got one in each room. So I left him to look at this after we had had our dinner, and he was on it more than 1 hour. And he said, Wendy, you're not going to believe this. From the time that I see that bone in the lounge, when it was there, to the time it was found in the dining room, I can't see how it got there because there's 22 missing minutes of footage.
Wow.
So we don't know to this day how it was transported to there. Certainly we would have seen the dogs moving it, but they couldn't have got it. So that's one example. My husband, because he's got all the clairs, he's clairsentient, clairaudient, he don't want the gift. He doesn't use it or use it for anyone to help anyone. He used to. He had an experience and he doesn't want to use it now, but he still connects with the spirit. We could be in bed and he will hear Senna by him, woof him for Dad to get up. I don't hear it because I can't hear spirit in that way. Mine's a thought. I took a video of Senna's memorial, same memorial, and I was going to send it to my friend. So I wanted to watch the replay because the day I took this video, the TV was playing. I had the washer on, that was clanging around. I thought, oh, Christ's sake, I can't send that to her. It's so noisy. So anyway, I thought, no, I'm not doing another video. I'll send it. So while I was listening to it, I heard a voice say Senna's name 3 times. And because the phone went up in the air and I ran out into my hallway thinking, oh my God, I'm losing the plot. But I sent that recording, I condensed it down because it was over 2 minutes long, I believe, to where the voice was saying his name to so many people on Facebook, my friends. And I think there was only 2 people that said they couldn't hear it. But everyone heard his name, Senna, 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 being said on this video. So,
Wow.
yeah, I've had so many things. You know, we'd need more than an hour's show for me to tell you all the different things that have happened. No one wants to hear me rabbiting that long.
I don't know. I'm pretty riveted to tell you the truth, and I have to tell you,
You've got a good audience.
there's a lot of people on watching you right now. And Julie
Is there?
said, wow, so interesting. Claire Louise says, such emotional stories, Wendy. And Robert, lovely story. And Janet Bull, she says she remembers your nanny.
Yes, she will, because Janet Bull is one of my oldest friends from school. She used to come to my nanny Watts and have beans on toast with me, and I used to go to her house. So she is one of my oldest friends, Jeanette, yes.
So glad
She
to
will
have you.
remember my nanny Watts, yeah.
There seems to be a lot of your friends here. Paul Bathgate, he says, hi, you mate.
Paul. Hello, Paul.
And there's quite a few. There's just so many. This is so much fun. Everybody, Linda Lemieux, and of course Deirdre's there, and she thinks
Yes, hello.
a very pretty blouse on. Yes.
Small Lord is
Thank
here.
you.
Robert Sosa.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
Nikki Allen, Paul, I don't want to leave anybody out. So Charlie's here too.
Charlie, hi, Charlie. And
Charles.
And Jeanette Hensley.
yeah. Melanie
Let's see.
Garnier.
My princess.
Erica Hoppy is here with
Oh,
us.
nice.
And
Hi.
Stacey Lord. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we've just got all kinds of people that are really interested in what you have to say. Linda Lemieux, Nikki Allen.
Oh, hi, Nikki Allen.
Yeah.
Aaron's here.
Terry.
Aaron, we're talking a lot about
Hi, Aaron.
animals. So Aaron Robertson is our animal communicator that'll be on
yes. Hi, Aaron.
on Thursday. So
And
Aaron, there's someone here that might want to connect with you. And Jeanette Hensley is trying to get a message around her cat princess. So we'll get you guys.
and Carol Allen is with us as well. Oh,
Hi, Carol.
Popped in.
Yeah.
Hi, Sharon.
And Terry Angel is watching. If anybody has any questions for Wendy about any of these stories, please. And Sharon Boyle just popped in.
Hi, Sharon Boyle.
Janet Bull says, Wendy, I kid you not, I've just had beans on toast.
Wow, there you are.
Beans on toast.
That's memories from about 44 years, no longer than that.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
46 years ago, yes.
Would you explain that to us, for all of us Americans and that are not familiar with beans on toast?
So beans on toast, I don't know what type of bean, but they're just in tomato sauce. Heinz baked beans, they're very famous.
Mm-hmm.
Been going for many, many years, yes. We just butter the toast and put the beans on.
That's always
it's not really a dinner.
Don't you guys have that? Because I was in England last year, and we had, in Ireland too, and the traditional breakfast, it's like there's beans on your plate. Beans.
Oh yeah, beans.
Which is not something we do here in the States for breakfast, but going overseas, it was like beans. But okay.
Heinz baked beans are probably loved by a lot of people. Yeah. Everyone has a tin in their cupboard. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's just regular little baked beans.
Yeah, like little white beans. I don't even know what brand. Someone might know. I don't know.
Campbell's, I think, would remind me a lot of Campbell's.
Heinz. No, it has to be Heinz.
Yeah, okay. Well, Sharon's been here the whole time, she said, sending hearts. And Erin Robertson, she says cannellini beans they have. Now, we have a question here from Anna and Jeanette Hensley. She says, Wendy, do you only connect with animals or humans too?
No, I do connect with humans, but not in this way. I haven't had proof that I could show someone, only my own proof. So, to the non-believer, no proof could ever be enough. But to the believer, no proof is necessary. But certainly, if I haven't got photographic proof and I'm just telling this story, then people can doubt that. So, yeah, I do, I can connect with spirit in my own sweet way. And I have had many signs from my mother who's passed away, and my dad, and other members of the family, but
you connected
I couldn't prove it to anyone that I have. I only know what I've seen with my own eyes, heard with if I've heard anything, which I don't hear, it's a fault. I might have heard my name. It's not a physical hearing, it's within.
Knowing, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a difference in hearing something and just feeling as if it's not your own. It's like you.
Yes, that's
here,
right.
And I don't know where
it's just there.
Yeah.
Because Nikki Allen, who's the lady who's watching Nikki Allen, she's a very well-known UK medium. She's been on TV, and I friended her on Facebook. And then I found out that she writes for the sister magazine of the one that Merlin the rabbit dog was featured in. Okay. You do get put on people's pathways, and you learn things from people. So it all comes back round, don't it? Full circle. It's amazing.
We're just circling around each other, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Isn't that wild?
I wanted to bring that up too, because you gave me a message one day. And the messages that you gave me from Steve were very spot on. So there is proof there, as far as like we know, when you give the message, that thing about the music box was very, very, it was something that I needed, because the music box, the message he was trying to give me, that music box had an energy attached to it that I really needed.
It did, I remember.
In order to have in my space. And I knew there was something here that was bothering me. So you alerted me to that, and I was able to take care of that issue. So yeah, I know, I trust you. I hear you, and I see when you keep telling me these things that you're seeing and you're growing. It's like you're expanding so much, and your abilities are becoming more and more heightened. So you've proven it to me.
But that's all thanks to you, Diane. Your daily show that you do, Come to the Playground, has helped me immensely. I don't see the old Wendy of 4 months ago. I see this new Wendy emerge that, is more confident, and I believe what I'm getting. I don't have to doubt that it's spirit. It's spirit that connects with me. Like does attract like, and I like Diane's energy and your way of teaching. So it's been really good for me, and with Nikki Allen, I watch a lot of her YouTube tutorials. So I take a bit from everyone, what resonates with me. So
right, you take what you need from those of us. we're all putting out different messages, and you know, you can tell intuitively what it is that you need to learn, and you're drawn
Definitely.
to, and you don't have to take everything. You know,
No.
all of us have our own filters. We might have things, sometimes we say things and you're like, no, I don't resonate with that. And that's okay. Leave that on the table. Just take from it what you need. And so you're doing that. You're doing a beautiful job.
You really are. And Nikki Allen says, first of all, she says, I can't believe we're talking about beads. But then she comes back and says, it's all synchronized and does come around full circle, darling.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Absolutely. And Sharon Boyle says, the magic is everywhere. You just have to believe.
Absolutely. Yes.
And there's one on here that I thought you would like to see. Charlie said, Wendy connected with my cousin on a previous Zoom, and I saw that happen. Mm-hmm. That was pretty fascinating. You want to tell us about that?
It's a bit sketchy, but I remember, I don't even know what I was doing on the show.
It was forever after that. It was with Katori, and she's a medium, so she was giving messages.
So she was doing, I think she connected with me, if I remember, my nanny in the story, my grandmother.
Yes, she did.
And then I felt I had this message for Charles, and I was so drawn to him, and I heard the name Catherine, and then it was, no, it's Kathy. And I think I gave him a very short message, and then he confirmed that his cousin hadn't long passed away, and indeed her name was Kathy. I think I mentioned his wife. I don't remember too much other than the name of Kathy, you know, because it wasn't my thought. It came in and it went. So it's hard sometimes to recall what you get until someone prompts you and says, oh, you told me X, Y, or Z. So, yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff, though. I've watched you a number of times. I just, I think you're just really scraping the surface, honestly. I think as you're growing into this and becoming more confident, there's a whole lot coming yet from you.
But it is all thanks to the group. You know, the Angelic River family group. Terry Angel, amazing. Jeryl Anne, Diane, and a lot of other people, you know, on the group, that we all take something from that person who can guide us and teach us. You know, so it's been a godsend, really, the group. Yeah. Well, in this difficult time of COVID, you know, it took me away from that doom and gloom of the news, and I was able to develop my gift that was always there, but it was lying dormant. It was there, it surfaced now and again, but I never wanted to bring it out because I was a bit, I don't know if the word afraid, but I didn't want to proceed too quick. I wanted to still be in that safe place. And, you know, I am someone who can maybe help others like people have helped me with messages. So, you know, that's what we want, don't we? We want to know there is no death. It is life after life at the end of the day. Right. Whether it's your mum giving you a message or your pet, which in my case is pet, it's still love. Love comes in many shapes and forms. So, to me, I think, you know, at least I believe in this. It doesn't matter what anyone else believes. I believe it. I've had my own proof. And I don't have to tell anyone my stories. But it's nice to tell them stories, to let other people think, you know what? I've had signs and I've brushed them off. You know, they do try really hard, don't they, to
yes, we do.
Tell them that we're there with us. So
the ego tries to rationalize it and say, no, that's not possible. When Steve first started coming around me, I was like, how is this possible? How? He only died a couple of days ago. And everybody's like, oh, no, you need time. You're not going to. And I'm like, nope, he's wrapping himself around me. I don't care what anybody tells me. I know what I'm experiencing. I would walk right through. It was like walking through pea soup. I'd be walking through, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I am in the midst of Steve right now. And so that's really, and it's so hard for us. I relate to you. It's so hard for us to come out and admit that we're doing that, because so many people just want to think, like I say this all the time, you guys laugh at me, but you know, like she's just a grieving widow and her cheese is slipping off her cracker, you know, like she's losing something up here. Her melon is just not quite right anymore. And it's, but when we all start coming out and telling our stories, which is the whole purpose of this show right here, is for us to come out and say, no, this really, I really experienced this. And maybe
definitely
people are having these experiences too. And now they're going to be more brave and come out and have a voice because you're coming on the show and sharing your story. So I'm
Good.
really grateful to you for doing this today.
Thank you for inviting
What
me.
else we got? You still got time.
I
We
know.
want more
And
stories.
I want to say too, I'm really grateful because right now in this time, do you notice, and you mentioned this, Wendy, in particular the last few months. And I think for a lot of our viewers out there, everybody had to go within with the COVID-19 and the quarantines and that. And so people couldn't distract themselves so easily. So I think that their gifts were coming up more. I think that they were with their gifts more. So I think this is marvelous because I think there are a lot of people out there watching this show that the same thing is happening to them that has happened to you. So by your coming on here and sharing, and then as you said, going to the playground with Diana in the morning, all the different shows, all the different people that you've connected with, because I really believe that as one of us grows and shifts, it helps everyone in the group.
Yes.
So we're all kind of like supporting each other and climbing up that psychic ladder, if you will, or that phenomenon ladder, and we're pulling each other along. So yeah, I mean, the comments from everyone is that, you know, everybody seems to be growing together.
Definitely.
So,
well, it's like a mass awakening, isn't it?
Yes.
When you find your tribe, then you feel like you've found home because you think, well, I can be me with all these other people because no one's going to judge me and go, oh, she's not normal in her head. You know, it's all in my imagination. So when you're with your tribe of people that think like you and experience the same things, then of course you feel comfortable to share and to develop more. And certainly in my case, you know, that's what happened. And for a lot of other people, I presume, you know, I'm not the only one. Thankfully, there's groups on Facebook that you know, there's many groups, but when you find that right one, it's almost like an excitement within you because it started, didn't it, with the Angelic River family. Terry Angel sitting on St. John's River because she was staying with you, looking at the birds and wanted to share with this live audience who she didn't even know was going to be watching. And then Angelic River family was born, and then I jumped on board. You made me moderator, and Diane and Deirdre, and that's how it snowballed. And you know, we have the same people every morning. It is like meeting your family for a coffee and a chat. You know, we uplift one another. We do prayer requests, guided meditation. You know, it's something that's good for your soul. You know, why knock anything like that? Why do people say, oh, I don't believe it exists? And, you know, there is no life after death. Dead is just dead. It's not. You know, really not. I'm glad I know what I know and I've experienced what I've experienced. I just hope that, you know, more people will experience their loved ones and maybe their pets that they shared their life with and went on walks every day with, because that love can't never die. It can't, because it's energy.
Space, don't
and energy can't die. Can't.
We just hold space for them. That's what I talk about all the time. It's like, that's the most beautiful thing you can do. Why does it make people happy to think that they're just gone? You know, like that's the hardest part. There's this empty space. There's shoes that aren't being worn for a dog. There's a leash that's not being, there's all these things. So what if you just say, hey, will you take a walk with me? Or, you know, create space for them. They're still a part of your life. So you open up that space, and then you open up your eyes and you pay attention to the signs and the symbols and the beautiful ways that they show you that they're still so very alive. They're not only just so alive, they're so much more alive than we are. Like
Definitely.
There's no stop. It's incredible what they can do when we are willing to stay what they're doing now, but we're just not aware of it. And once we become aware, they're like, you know, look what I can do. I remember Stevie was like, of course, I did that rainbow, you know, like I sent those butterflies. That was me. Of course it was me. I can do whatever I want. I can be in a million places at one time. I'm like, now I am your Batman. It's incredible, but you gotta pay attention.
Definitely
and realize that they're still around. And so I love that you're kind of waking us up to that too. Like my dog, of course my dog's still around. I've created space for him. He's still close to me. It's beautiful.
I think I see a little dog in meditation on your group.
Oh, we need a doggy meditation. We can do that. We can do
No,
that.
I said, I think I see a dog. I see a dog in meditation on your group.
Oh, do you?
And I did. And I give you the description, and you said it was your old dog with the cleft lip.
I did have. You did. I remember you told me that we.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was a floppy dog that had spots,
Big,
like
yeah.
a spaniel. She was. I worked for a veterinarian, and she was born. There was a few of them, and most of them she was a show dog. This woman had show dog, but the vet could put his finger right up. He had to deliver these puppies through C-section, and most of them the cleft was all the way through, so he couldn't save them all. That one just had the big old cleft lip, and we bottle fed her. We raised her, and I hadn't even thought of her in years. And you brought up this dog, and I'm like, I think that's, as soon as you said that, I said, I think I know which dog that is. And your description of her was perfect.
Yeah.
They're still around us, you know. They love us. They don't.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. So I appreciate
Always.
it. Yeah, it brought me back to her. It brought some happy memories back. So I appreciate you bringing her up.
Pleasure.
So, Wendy, let's venture into the next story, shall we?
What, when I first got into spiritualism?
Yes.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Let's go there. Let's go there, because we talked about the animals. Let's talk about you and your venture, like you said, into spiritualism and doing readings and that for people.
Well, it all started in 1990. I was out with my baby, he was 2 at the time, in the pram, and I passed a hall, and it had a billboard outside saying, "Afternoon of Clairvoyance," or "Welcome." And I sort of found myself within this place. I don't even remember going in the door. I was just sort of there with my baby in the pram. And I ended up in the audience. I can't remember how many people, and I had a resident medium, or a medium who was doing the messages. And they brought my mum through. I lost 3 years before. So that's what started it off for me. You know, I wanted more of that. I just spoke to mum, you know, and I almost skipped home with the pushchair. I was so excited. And then where we was living, we moved to another property, and we had a mayor of our borough. He only done 1 year term. Reg Golding, his name was. And he became he was my neighbour. But he was part of that church. But I'd moved from where I lived. So I met up with him again. And then I got a full-time job. I was a custody officer for the immigration. So, you know, my hours was quite long, but they invited me to join their psychic circle. And it met, I can't remember what day of the week. There were 6 of us. We met and we sat and we done an opening prayer and connected with spirit. And Reg from the church, who was my neighbour, the mayor, he was known as the mystic mayor in the borough. He led the class. And then that circle closed, I think, because my hours was too long. And then about 4 years passed. I lost contact with my circle friends. And then I was going through a difficult time. And I walked into this church about 9 miles from me, and I met up with all my a few of my circle friends. So it was like a reunion. So there you are again, you know, spirit. And then I met my good friend who's my good friend now, Christine. She used to go to the church back in 1990. We knew of one another, but we wasn't friends. So spirit put me on her pathway. She was going through some health issues at the time, and I had some family problems, so we sort of was meant to meet. But yeah, over the years I have done some readings for people, a couple of people on my Facebook in Messenger, and then I think a lady on there, I won't name her name, her daughter wanted to see if I could do a reading for her. And I said, it doesn't work like that, you know, I can't call the spirit, you know, no one can call them to come. If they want to come in, they come in. It's, you know, it's not like me saying, right, I want to speak to Tom and he'll come in and speak to me. It's when it happens. So I said, you know, if I get any messages, I'll get in contact with you. I've done her a reading, and also her daughter, and many readings really. But I do work with the oracle cards just to give concentration for something to focus on. And I find that is a tool, it's certainly when you're starting out, you know, to have a colourful deck, not a complicated deck, just to enhance your own natural ability, because we are all spirit. So really, in theory, we can all connect with spirit because we are spirit. So, you know, no one's better than anyone else. It's just their way may be different. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I did a lot of that too. That's kind of where I started for a long time. It was pulling those oracle cards because, believe it or not, I was drawn to an oracle card or an oracle deck after Steve died, and it was like I knew he was talking to me through those cards. And so it's a beautiful way for people that are trying. I like that you brought that up. For people that are trying to enhance their gifts or to kind of come into those gifts of being able to give readings like that, to have tools like that, because it brings us, it opens us up. It kind of gives you a focal point, something to start from. But you don't have to, you'll find really quickly if you've got that gift, which any of us can, really, is that you don't necessarily have to read from that book. That as soon as you feel that,
not the book.
You'll be drawn to the right card for that person once you connect to them, and then it'll just, the message that they need will just start to flow through you when you allow. So it's a beautiful way to get started. I'm glad you brought that
All
up.
it is trust, really. You just have to trust that what you're getting, whether, even if it sounds bizarre, just give it. I mean, one lady I've done a reading for, I said to her, I get the name, and I describe, I don't hear it, it's just a fault. Moses. She went, oh, that's my granddad who's passed, Moses Burton. I was like, oh, is it? You know, even then I still doubted myself for days, but how did I get that? My husband said, why are you thinking too hard? You know, they give you that name, you passed it, forget it now.
Right. Don't think about it. Don't get that brain involved in it, because the intuitive part of you is the brain. That part of you is down here. It's not up here. So if you start getting this involved in it, you'll make a mess of it. It's like we try to rationalize everything. It's just as a simple, a funny thing. We've got this bear that walks in the yard all the time. And as soon as I saw him walk through the yard, I was like, ombre. I have no idea. I've never used the name ombre for anyone ever. I have no idea. And my daughter said, well, did you give him a name? And I said, his name is Ombre. And she said, why would you name him Ombre? That's a silly name. I said, I don't know why you're asking that question. I didn't name him.
I think Steve named him.
He just told me his name.
Do you think Steve named him?
Maybe Steve was in
Batman.
my. That's possible. There's Ombre.
Steve always joins us, doesn't he? In the you know, on your show.
I don't know where Steve ends. We got to a place where I don't know where I end and he starts anymore. So a lot of times we like finish each other's sentences, or I will ask a question and he pops in, and it's come to a place where I feel him here now. So that's where the channeling comes in. So now it's like, oh, I just got to stop holding him back. I literally feel like I'm holding him back sometimes. And when I just let it flow, he just comes rolling out of me. And so that's...
I know when you've got him with you, because you get like a frog in your throat, like you have to clear... Not that like severe, but it's like
sometimes it's right here where it's going to blow out of my forehead. If I don't just give this message, it's literally going to come out of my forehead. So you just kind of, that's where it is, where you have to step aside. That's what you're talking about. That the ego part of you has to step aside and let that other part of you, that higher self, the part of you that's at the same level as all the other, you know, like my higher self is right there with Steve. And of course, communicate at that level. So when I push the ego aside, he and I have an easy pathway to be able to speak with one another. That's where it comes from. That's my understanding, the way that it's given to me.
You know, we're so fortunate, really, that we've got the internet and social media where people are giving their time like you do, Diana, free, 1 hour a day, you know, to lead us into the meditation and to bring out our gifts. So, you know, it's all free. No one, you don't charge for it. And it's something that you benefit from. You know, we're so lucky that we've got this platform where we can interact with people. And because, you know, before the internet, there probably was people like me that didn't have nowhere to go, and, you know, they didn't have anyone to talk to. So, I mean, I'm very fortunate that my family are supportive, and my few close friends. Obviously, it's on Facebook now, so all my friends on there is going to know. I mean, that's no worry. But back then, you know, if it had been in them... So it's good, really. You know, it gives hope to other people that your dad isn't dead, your mum's not dead, your cat didn't die. It just went from, you know, out of its own body. The body was just the overcoat. You don't need that anymore. You know, we are all energy. We're going to go on forever and ever. Amen. You might not see with these eyes, but we can all sense something. We have to look for the logical explanation, of course, but people must have a sense that, oh, someone felt like someone was there, or, you know, even if it's only a little bit, it's something, it's a start, you know, and the start always can become bigger.
Little signs. Right, exactly. Yeah. There's little bitty signs around you all the time. In the beginning, it might be just something small that you're like, oh, wait, what is that? And then it just kind of allow it to grow. The signs become more beautiful because my eyes are more open to what I'm seeing. It's not them. They can do it. It's us paying attention. Yeah.
I'll tell you a brief little story. You know, on the scan, it was 1111, which is a very angelic number. I've spoken to Terry Angel about it. You know, she knows about numbers. I moved to number 11. My present address now is number 11. And I had my total hip replacement 11 years ago this year on 11/11.
Wow.
So that is,
What's your number?
That's my number, that and 22. So,
That's beautiful.
Yes.
And I wanted to say, Robert Painley is watching, and he said, cheers, Wendy, and he thinks there's some great advice coming out of the show, and I would agree. And ombre is man. That's what ombre
is. Man? So, hi, man. Well, that varies such an ombre. He's such an ombre. It just fits him. He's so cute.
We have quite a few new viewers coming on, and Angie Taylor, and and it's just some really great conversation going on. And one of the things they were going to ask you was how you got started. So I really like that you went into that, Wendy. And do you ever, I've had this happen to me, and I'm wondering how many others out there. One of the things is I'll catch something out of the corner of my eye. Does that happen to you? And I know also you have like orbs on video. You have all kinds of videos. I just remembered that. You have all kinds of videos with that.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to us? How did that happen?
I'll tell you why it happened, because my husband was Muslim by birth because he's Turkish. But he's been studying Buddhism the last couple of years, so he does chanting in his own time, in his own space. And this particular day, he had gone from one room to the next, saying his chant. And of course, the house cams picked up, I can't even tell you how many hundreds of these orbs. And then you see one of our little doggies come in and look. And then on the floor, it looks like there's a shadow moving. Pardon me. But we on a closer look, because you can screenshot and we can, you know, go back on the video and zoom in and try and get that frame of that. We almost thought it looked like Senna again laying there with the bone. But, you know, we don't want to make it fit, of course. But, we've had a lot of activity in this house. But it's not been dark energy or bad. I think it's just spirit trying to get the attention. You know, things moving and things appearing and then disappearing. So, and odd noises. You know, you've got to look at your house and your building. It could be pipes, but it's not. It's definitely spirit.
Lights. That's what it's like when you have that ability. When you are a medium, when you show that it's like you're like putting out the signal.
Like you turned your light on.
Yeah, and then they're just like zoom. They're trying to get your attention in different.
Of course, as we know, we have to bring in protection to ourselves. Exactly. You know, whether you ask for the white light or Archangel Michael to place a shield of protection around you. Mm-hmm. You know, try and work within the light and ask your guides. We've all got guides. You know, we've all got spirit guides and that work with us. So, you know, if you ask, then they will help you. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, we can't see what we're dealing with. So we have to be careful that we don't let something in because we're not protected.
Exactly. There's a responsibility
that attaches to us. You know, I don't like to think too much of that because I don't think bad. Mm-hmm. But as on Earth, there was bad. I'm sure when they cross over, not that they're bad, but they've got a lot of learning to do so they can not be as...
I would say And I don't know if I'm, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but the ones that you're getting that are lower vibrational are not necessarily crossed over into healing yet. So the reason
Yes.
why, so what we are attracting is that the vibration that we live at. So if we hold ourselves in a higher vibration, if we work ourselves up here, we're not going to attract those lower vibrational energies. They don't even see us. We're completely off the radar. When you spend a lot of time in depression and sadness and grief, or your lower vibration like that, those earthbound spirits that haven't found their way to cross over yet, they're attracted to you. They're attracted to your energy. It's like attracts like. So that's when we start pulling in that lower. So there's definitely, like you were saying, there's a responsibility to learning when you're a medium. There's definitely a responsibility to learn how to protect yourself, what you need to do. And how does it feel? Because when you attract in, they're attached to you, and you're going to be feeling their emotions. You might be suddenly feeling suicidal or sad or scared or whatever. You're feeling these, and you're like, wait a minute, is that me? And if that's not you, then you need to learn how to carry your energy, and to like you said, call in that protection and ask, really definitely ask for it, because you don't want to carry that around. It's not your own. You don't want that weighing you down at all. So that's something that people need to learn about. Really, it is a big responsibility how to manage that, so that you're not living a life that's less than what you desire just because you're attracting stuff that you don't need to have around.
Yeah. I mean, on our group, the Angelic River family, there's a lot of members that can teach them things, with classes, free classes, and with the knowledge that they've got, because they've experienced it. So it's really free for all, isn't it?
It's
free.
Go
where you need to go and learn what you need to learn.
Sometimes it really is worth it, though. I'm going to say that because we've brought it up a couple of times. It really is worth it, and we need to remember that those of us that are out here, we're doing this free because we want to help walk each other home. But there is definitely something in coming to that person. If you feel really drawn and you've got an attachment, or you're having these emotions or something that you can't figure out, it's okay to go to these free things. But there are times, if I hadn't found Paul Wyrostek when he died, I wouldn't be the person that I am now today. He helped me and taught me so much. So there is value in one-on-one finding that.
Definitely.
And you would pay to go to a doctor. I paid to go to Paul. It was worth every penny. So there are times when you really do have to seek that and it's worth it. I promise you, it's worth it to pay a little bit to have one-on-one attention.
I just wanted to let our viewers know also that today, the show that we have right now is a conversation, and it's also to give information to all of you out there that may be new to your gifts, or for those of you who have gifts and have been doing this a long time. It's just really nice to hear someone else's story. We don't do readings on the show typically. And so people have been asking if spirits are coming through to you right now, Wendy, and that type of thing. And I just wanted to let everybody know that as much, there are those shows out there and they're awesome, but this one is more about what you could expect if you're starting to have these experiences and what's happening with you. So we do appreciate your questions and that, but that is, that's for other shows to do. So I just wanted to let you know that we're not ignoring any of those questions. It's just not the path of this particular show. So, and Nikki Allen also says like attracts like. So definitely, wherever your vibration is, wherever your energy is, that's what you're going to pull in. So, what do they say? You can't, there is no darkness in the light. Where there is light, there cannot be darkness. They cannot go together. So yeah, and you're so very welcome, sweetheart. And you do. We have one that she lost some family members and were murdered. So there was, and so you do have our deepest condolences on that for sure. And but okay. So I apologize for interrupting there, but I just wanted everybody to know, what's going on. And this has been really enlightening. We're getting down to the wire here, Wendy. And I know I did
grab it a lot, didn't I?
There's 20 people. Our numbers are all over the place with all the 20s right now.
I know. In fact, did you see Nikki's when you mentioned the 1111? She said, you know, 11 and 11 is 22. And she said, 22 is balance. Hence why 2020 is us light workers balancing everything before we kick off into a higher vibration for 2021.
Yes.
I love that.
Can I just say,
Nikki?
Deirdre in our group
Mm-hmm.
gave a good analogy of 2020 this year. She said 2020 is perfect vision, and it is in your eyes.
That's true.
So that,
Her
you know,
eyes
is this year. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're needing to look at ourselves. We're needing to go within. We're needing to look where those dark corners are. We're needing to really look at everything outside of ourselves, inside of ourselves, everywhere, so that we can, this is that year of vision, so that we can move forward, because 2021 will be a year of 5, a change year. So we can start changing all those things that we're discovering right now and move into that.
Yeah.
So Wendy, do you have any other quick stories you'd like to share with us?
I have many stories, Jeryl Anne. I don't know how long have we got.
No, you're gonna have
Right.
to come back.
We did this at 3:30, so we could go for up to. I don't want to stress you out, Jeryl Anne.
I can't, because when I drink
it runs
water,
over.
No. We'll go as long as we
going.
want. I just wanted to be conscientious of everyone's time. So, and I guess we would just have to bring you back, Wendy, to talk some more, won't we?
If you wish.
I do.
I like that phrase.
I love
Been a
that.
lot of fun, Wendy.
Yes.
I feel like we just got started. Honestly, it's
I
4:29,
know.
and I feel like we just went live. And you've got a lot of people. Hi, Chetta, Nikki. There's all these people. You've had a big audience today, so that's excellent. I'm trying to keep up, Scarlett. There's so many people. So many of my buddies that come to the playground too. So it's fun to watch.
And also, Anjanette Hensley asked, she says, does Wendy have a website for paid readings that you can pin up, please?
That's a good answer.
No, I don't do readings on
Okay.
any website, no.
Okay.
I only do it if the spirit come to me, but that could be while I'm talking to someone, like my dog rescue people. If we're talking about something, or I'm talking to someone and I get something come through, then I might just give a couple of things. But I don't class myself as a professional medium. It's someone like Nikki Allen. I believe she's got a website. You know, she's been on UK TV with some of our, celebrities, reading for them on well-known TV programs. So she's the one to go to, not me, because I'm still on my journey. It's steady, but it's getting there. But I'm not that confident that I could do that for anyone, and I wouldn't feel like I want to, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Totally.
That's what the show is really all about. It's about bringing people out that are just coming into their gifts, or that have had experiences that haven't had a chance to talk. So this one is a little bit different than, say, Jeryl Anne. Sometimes on your shows, you've got, oftentimes on mine and Forever After That, we've got well-established people that are used to talking, they have their web pages, and they're doing this for a living. This show is for those people that haven't really had that voice yet. So it's a different kind of thing. So, but I would suggest, Wendy, it sounds like you're not that interested, but maybe finding some people to just practice on and letting them know, hey, that's how
I do
practice.
practice.
Our gifts. It's just by practicing and trying and seeing what we can do. I'm still getting that myself. Let me see what I can do.
And I have to tell you, Wendy, there are all kinds of comments. You'll have to come back and look, because honestly, people are just in Deirdre and Linda and everybody is like, love this show. Thank you. And Deirdre could listen to you all day. Hope Wellington Marshall says, well done, Wendy. And and Nikki Allen says, darling, you are an amazing empath. You will be doing readings in the future. Beautiful angel, Wendy. Yes,
thank you.
I would agree with you, Nikki. And Nikki, if there is a place for people to get a hold of you, please put it in the comments for us. That would be lovely.
There's some people there that I know will want to contact you.
Yeah. And Carol Allen says, great show. Wendy is wonderful to listen to. See, Wendy, we told you. She was so nervous.
Terry Angel says, so proud of you, Wendy, for stepping out of your comfort zone. Our Angelic River family showed up to support you because we love you. So
yeah, I love you.
People from that family are here today.
Thank you.
Because you're so loved. So
and Julie, great job, Wendy. Robert Doza, thank you for the show. Claire Louise, yes, we do love Wendy. Wendy, you got a fan club, girl.
Sit right up. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Do you feel like you're getting a big hug right now? Because that's what it looks
I feel like I'm getting a big head. I don't know about big hug.
Watch out.
That's okay. That's okay.
Right.
And Angie says, lots of love, Wendy, honey. And if
Thank
we
you.
missed your comment, we do apologize. There's so many because you are so loved. And Sharon Boyle, yes, great show, ladies. And Wendy, you rocked it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You did it.
Thanks, Sharon Hen.
And Jeanette says, wonderful show. And we appreciate all of you out there in viewing this show today. And I know Wendy does as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wendy's going to go back and look at all your comments. I know her. She will. Won't
I
she?
will.
Yes, you will.
After I've made Mr. Atalay a cup of tea. Tolga.
And Charlie says, love to all. And so does Seta. She says, enjoyed y'all. Thank you. And Marianne sends hearts. So really, everybody, thank you so much.
Thank
Diana,
you.
is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap this party up?
Just thank you too. I'm loving these shows more and more every week. It's so much fun. I'm loving to getting to know, having this platform for those of you that have been around us and we're like, oh, we want to know, people want to know more about this person. It's such a beautiful experience. So Wendy, thank you so much for joining me. Jeryl Anne,
Thank you.
for being my partner in this. I appreciate it greatly. And whatever else you'd like to say, you can throw in there and I'll click us back on. Thank you all to all of you that have been watching today.
While I wrap up our wrap up part. Okay. And I do want to thank you once again, Wendy. You were absolutely lovely, and we have to have you back. I'd like to tell everyone, please check out all of the wonderful programming on Enlightened World Network and EWN Enlightened Living. If you go to those pages, there is a daily guide. And I mean, there is so much programming now, you won't believe it. And this Sunday is like a full day on Enlightened World Network of every half hour, a new speaker, all types of everything you can imagine for conversations and for meditations and all of that kind of stuff. I'll be doing the water blessing once again. Now, next Monday on our show, please join us once again as my dear friend, Barbara Falowski, will be joining us. Barbara has been gifted since she was a child. And then as an adult, she became a funeral home director. So she owned and operated her own funeral home down actually in Fort Lauderdale. And so, I mean, she's got some seriously interesting stories to tell, if you guys can imagine. So we hope you'll be back with us next Monday at 3:33 Eastern time. So we'll see y'all then. Thank you all for joining us today. We love you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.